As of the day that I'm posting this video, I will have bullet journaled for 1,893 days. So that's basically a little over 5 years. I started bullet journaling in January of 2020, and if you watched my video from last week, I believe, I flipped through my first bullet journal ever that I ever made and showed you all my spreads. But today I want to talk about the comparisons between what my bullet journaling was like when I first started in 2020 and how it is now in 2025. So number one big thing that has changed are the types of trackers that I do in my bullet journal. Now, looking through my old spreads, I'm gonna try to find examples for all of these if I can. I did a lot of things like graphs in my trackers. So this is tracking, I think, my mood, and then I think this is hours slept, so things like that. I'm realizing that with me holding up the journals in different colors, the color editing of this video is going to be very hard to manage. So if it kind of goes back and forth between really cool color and very warm coloring, I am terribly sorry. I'm trying my best here. I also feel like I used to do a lot more, like I said, mood trackers, more artsy trackers like this where you like color in the flower based on your mood, things like that. Now I feel in my current bullet journal, I do not do anything crazy like that. I don't keep up with my sleep. I don't keep up with my mood or productivity. Instead, the trackers that I tend to put in my journals are focused more on things like expenses. This is my expenses tracker for February. Obviously it's empty. I haven't filled it out yet, but I focus more on things like money. I also have academic planning a lot more. So this is my academic calendar. I have like a big chart with all my different classes and different weeks for planning stuff for college. Even when I was super busy in high school in the years 2020 to 2023, I did not do any academic planning. This is something that I have added since I've been to college. But one thing that has been pretty consistent over the years is habit tracking. My first habit tracker I ever made was in May of 2020. I have 6 different trackers here that I filled in the calendar, and this looks incredibly similar to what I do literally to this day. My most recent habit tracker that is filled in was from February of this year, and this is what it looks like. So literally very similar to that in that they're little calendar boxes and you just fill in the dots where you complete that habit. I would say that in general, a lot of my habits are the same too, as far as drinking water, taking my vitamins, reading the Bible, things like that. And they're usually about 6 to 9 tracked on a monthly basis, not a weekly basis. So in that way, my tracking has stayed the same over the years and is something that I'm consistent with because I know it is pretty effective for me. As far as any other spreads that are also in the bullet journal, I feel like in the past, I've had a lot more, I don't want to say like creative spreads, but just like random spreads sprinkled through the bullet journal that has nothing to do with productivity. I've talked about this a little bit in the past as well, but like when I flipped through, for example, January, I love this quote page that I did. It's like so random and not necessary, but I feel like I did a lot of like just random quote pages and pages for me to be artsy and have fun with my journal. This is a playlist spread that I also did in January. Again, I don't make spreads like this anymore, not because they're not fun, but because I just don't like make time for it, to be honest. But when I was first into bullet journaling, I loved doing stuff like this just for the fun of it. So quote pages, playlist spreads, also things like scrapbooking. I showed you guys in my flip through last week that I did a lot of things like this page, which is a scrapbook page for BTS, who was like my favorite artist in 2020. I also did a page for my favorite book series of all time, which is funny because this is still my favorite series of all time to this day, but spending time like doing crazy scrapbooking like this is not something that you find in my bullet journal now. Like, to be honest, you'll rarely find a spread that's not a calendar, a weekly spread, or a tracker page. Like, that's basically what I stick to in my current bullet journal. Now, one thing that I have been doing every now and then recently is reading journal spreads. I don't actually own a reading journal. I will just make spreads for videos for you guys to see and give you guys mostly inspiration while also talking about the books that I'm reading. So going back to the beginning of last year, I would do these setups where I would like recap the stats that I read in that particular month and then also list all of the books that I read. So these are the books that I read that month and then the ones I was in the middle of reading by the end of the month. I never did stuff like this in my first couple of bullet journals because I wasn't really aware of reading journaling. It wasn't as popular, I feel, at that time. However, that was me last year. Current me, like right now, I don't really do much reading journaling unless I'm making a video for it. I don't have a specific journal for reading, but that's still a change that you'll see in more recent journals of mine versus like older journals of mine. Now, one thing that has stayed the same throughout everything is a brain dump spread. Sometimes you just need a page to jot down all of your thoughts. Okay, here's one. So I did one in September of my first year of bullet journaling. This was mostly planning out content, which I'll talk about a little later in this video as well. But again, just jotting down random thoughts. Sometimes you just need that room in your journal to just like put anything down onto paper. And I feel like I still do that to this day every now and then when I'm having a particularly busy month. I made one for December of last year in 2024, although I really didn't use it that much, but it was there if I needed it. So this is a spread that I still kind of sprinkle in every now and then when it's necessary. Another spread that is always consistent no matter what is I always have a monthly calendar. I literally cannot breathe without something to plan out my entire month in advance. From the literal first month of ever bullet journaling, I had a calendar. basically nothing but a calendar. It was just this and the cover page, and that was all that I had for January. But the one thing that I had was a calendar to kind of plan for the future in a monthly basis. And to this day, I still need that. I still do my calendars every single month. This is the one I just finished for March recently. Flipping back a little further, this is one that I did for January. It's much bigger, but has the same purpose. Another thing is weekly spread. So I feel like I always have a weekly spread. Well, maybe not always. There are some weeks where I know that I'm going to be out of town. I just don't really need one. But I feel like for every month, there's usually at least 1 or 2 weekly spreads that kind of go into more detail on a weekly basis rather than a monthly basis. And I also have been trying different layouts since the start. Like flipping through, I first did weekly spreads in April of 2020. You can see I'm trying different layouts of like more horizontal weekly spreads, more vertical weekly spreads. This one is very blocky and modular, like I'm trying different layouts. Same thing happens now. I'm like messing around with different things depending on what I need them for. But what changes is how I write in the weekly spreads. So I used to really specify events versus tasks as like 2 different things. Events being things that are scheduled and have a time, whereas tasks are just like to-do lists I need to finish by the end of that day, hopefully. My handwriting was so good at this point in my life. Oh my goodness. But if you look like really close up here, the top couple things are bulleted with a square, and this indicated an event, whereas the other things down below, these are just circles and those were tasks. So I feel like the differentiation between events and tasks was something I used to really emphasize, whereas now in my bullet journal, even if things are timed or scheduled, I don't really make that distinction, to be honest. Everything is just ... If it has a date or a place or a time, I will write that in, and I know that it's an event, but I don't have to like specifically specify. I also don't time block anymore. I used to try to experiment with time blocking, and I don't think it was very successful for me, which is why I haven't stuck with it. Like here in this weekly spread, I have like the date times during the day, and then I like organize a to-do list based on when in the day I would actually complete them. This is something that I don't stick to now because I know that it's not effective for me. Quite often I just have a list of to-do lists every day, and I just like complete them in the breaks I have between classes or church or volunteering or like other events. So it's not really useful for me to actually schedule out every single moment of the day. I'm better off just writing what I need to do, and I know that I'm going to complete it because I'm self-disciplined enough to finish things, or at least mostly finish things by the end of the day. So find what works for you and experiment at the beginning, but after 5 years, I know that it doesn't really work for me, so I don't really use it anymore. Now let's talk about goal planning. So I used to do a lot of goal planning specifically in my bullet journal. This was my first goal planning page that I ever made. This was in my pink bullet journal, so for 2021, and I have 5 different sections of my life and all the goals I want to complete in those sections. Now I do still keep 5 sections of my life. I think I've tweaked them a little bit from socials, relationship, personal, like all those different things. I've like tweaked the names. I still do goal setting in different categories, but I don't actually put them in my bullet journal anymore. In fact, if you look at my opening setup for this year, there actually isn't even a goal planning page. It was just year at a glance, future log, and then books and my period tracker. There's nothing for goals in this setup. And that's because I do most of my goal planning now on Notion. I do it digitally. And I find that honestly, this year in particular, like 2025 specifically, I have really not focused on goals very much. I did write goals and I did put them in my Notion page. I've done an entire video multiple times talking about my whole Notion setup, so I'll link it down below if you're interested. But I don't put that in my bullet journal anymore because I think it's one of those things that are always changing and editing, because it's hard to be in January and think about yourself 12 months in advance and what you want to accomplish. Like there are so many things that could change your life during a year. I find that it's really ineffective to write goals down in pen in a journal that could eventually change 3 or 4 months down the line. Then you have to like erase it or fix it. It's easier to do it digitally, in my opinion. But also I feel like just this year in specific, I have not been keeping up with not really keeping up with them, but just like not focusing on them as much. So, I'm working on my life obviously, and I feel like every day I'm, getting closer to who I am as a person, but I'm just not really thinking so much about the goals that I set this year. And that's just a personal thing. I really would like to be more into goals this year. I just feel like I'm not as motivated to be as meticulous about them in this very moment. But even if I was, I would keep them on Notion. And this video isn't sponsored, but just like I use Notion a lot. Speaking of Notion, content planning is also something that I have not put in my bullet journal in quite a while. So after the goals page, actually, you can flip to a page when I was planning out all of my YouTube stuff and ideas and all of my Etsy stuff when I used to have an Etsy shop. I don't anymore. I still have an online shop if you want to go check that out, but not an Etsy shop. And even in my first bullet journal ever, I have pages where I was planning all of my content. Like this is when I was first launching my Etsy shop, and so I have like a little to-do list down here and all my content planning, things I need to do, stuff like that. Now, because content changes so often, I'm always moving around videos on the schedule. I'm always like making little scripts for, not even scripts, but just like bullet points, what I want to talk about, moving them around, adding sponsors, moving that around. It's a very fluid, always editing process. Because of that, I always wanted to keep them digitally as well, because it's just so much easier to keep account of things. So I also use Notion for content planning. That's mostly what I use it for, is content planning and goal planning. And then things like monthly calendars, weeklies, things like that, habits, that's done in my bullet journal. And it's just a personal preference because I know what works for me and what doesn't. You might completely switch those two. It might be completely digital, it might be completely physical on a journal. It's about finding the system that works for you. I say this a lot, but that's true. So, all right, so just a couple more changes. Let's talk about art style. So I feel like specifically in my older bullet journals, I just tended to have a very more, how do I even put this? Just like, I wouldn't even say loud art style. It was very maximal. Specifically like in 2021, I would feel like this was my cover page for August, one of my favorite cover pages ever. We move into something like this, again, very loud, very taking up space. And I feel like that August theme in specific is probably a bad example because it was a month that is very maximal. But even on a spread like this that I would at the time count as very minimal, I'm using a lot of color. I'm using a lot of very big lettering, very bold, everything. I'm using thicker line art for everything. And all of my art is done with water-based markers directly in the journal. Now, I would say that more recently, my style, because I experiment a lot more with my art and I've been doing multiple different areas of art in more recent years, I feel like my style between months can vary a lot. Like for example, in October of last year, I did a neon theme with a witch. And then literally the month after that, I was doing dark academia scrapbooking. So like complete switch over. And then the final month of the year in December, I drew water-based markers of a chapel. But then literally right after that, for my year in advance, I'm doing like disco balls for the spread. So like my style is changing a lot more because I'm trying to, go back and forth between what I like. However, I feel like just in general, even though I am doing like more different things, I'm using more mediums like alcohol markers, acrylic markers, scrapbooking, more than just water-based markers like I did in my first ever bullet journal where this is basically just water-based marker. I feel like in general that my art is more minimal, mostly because of the line art. I feel like my line art is just so much more dainty, specifically because I use thinner pens. This is the Pigma Micron in the size 01, and this is the pen that I gravitate the most to for line art in all of my art. And then I also just tend to use really thin black pens when I'm writing, versus in the past I've used like 05 size, which is much thicker, and that was my baseline for line art, writing in my journal, everything like that. This was the first page in my bullet journal this year, and the art is pretty I wouldn't say it's too hard, but it's pretty complicated. It's very detailed, but the line art itself is very thin and dainty. I just feel like over the years, although my art has become more complicated in different ways and I've tried new mediums, my line art has gotten thinner, and so overall I feel like it's a more cleaner look, but that doesn't necessarily make it better either, because I look back at my old spreads and I love the amount of energy and the amount of color that's everywhere. So just like seeing how my art has evolved over time, and maybe I will go back to my old ways eventually. We'll just have to see as time goes on. But my last point that I want to make here is something that has stayed consistent throughout the entire bullet journal, literally from 5 years ago to literally today. Very, very rarely has a day, if any, has a day gone by that hasn't been documented in my journals, which is actually one of my favorite things about bullet journaling. Yes, there are many days where I have skipped weekly spreads or left the weekly spread empty because I just simply don't need it. I don't need to use it. But whether it's through calendars, whether it's through just having the days available to use for weekly spreads, even if I don't actually fill them in, I honestly feel like there hasn't been a single day since January 1st of 2020 to today, March 5th, to when you're watching this, to later on in the line, where I don't have at least something written down for every single one of those 1,893 days in one of my journals, which I honestly think is so incredible. I could tell you, like, what was I doing on September 4th of 2023? Okay, let's look. This was my notebook for 2023, the second half. Let me flip to September. On the calendar for September 4th, I had to pick up textbooks because the new semester was starting. In my academic planner, I had to read chapter 4 of my film textbook. If I flip to the weekly spread, oh, there's a lot. It was Labor Day, so it was a day off of school, but I had groceries. I had an alcohol course, which I think is like a video I had to make for alcohol markers. I had to upload and make the description box for a new video, do a film project, wash my water bottle, pick up textbooks. Like, I'm learning all this information about my past self because I literally have it written down. Like, it's so interesting to just go back through these time capsules and literally see like what was Sophie doing at X time at this moment. I could tell you. I have it documented and I will continue to have it documented. So no matter how long I continue bullet journaling or however long this hobby lasts me, I will always like treasure these journals because they're just like such a keepsake of this moment in my life. I hope this video was really interesting. It was for me, at least. Subscribe. I post new bullet journaling videos every single Saturday. And if you want to watch my most recent video, I'll have it right here on the screen.